time now to review headlines of today's newspapers. And of course, we'll start with This Day, the newspaper of record, where we have the lead story. At Biden's forum, Buhari promises free, fair elections, transfer of power to winners in 2023. I think the quote there from that virtual meeting says from the president, we remain committed to putting in place and strengthening all necessary mechanisms to ensure that Nigeria will not only record another peaceful transfer of power to an elected democratic government, but will also ensure that elections are conducted in a free, fair, and transparent manner. I think this is important that the president said this to the world, especially on a platform created by the Americans. If you recall, that part of the issues that former President Goodluck Jonathan had with the 2015 election was that it looked like the Americans wanted him out. It looks like the Americans, in a way, favored, a regime change, if you like. So for President Biden of the U.S. to now have this forum where President Buhari, although he's not seeking re-election, but he's saying to the world that not only will the election be free and fair, but he will hand over to whoever wins. I think that is important.
Yes. And
the world will keep tab of that. On top of that lead story is something about the turnaround expert, so-called, which says 69 billion naira debt. Appeal court dismisses Jimoh Ibrahim's suit to recover assets. Dr. Jimoh Ibrahim likes to, announce himself as a turnaround expert, but it looks like he's been having quite a lot of issues with AMCON over certain assets, the Nikon building that he holds. It looks like he has lost the appeal case, but from what I have read from his own team, and I think it is fair to also allow him to interpret what has happened in court. From what I've read, he's saying that the court has granted him 14 days to file an appeal, which is going to do, and that people should not run away with the social media noise about the fact that he has lost the case, etc. Time will tell who is saying the right thing, whether Dr. Ibrahim, as a turnaround expert, is at fault, or whether AMCON will cede all the assets to him.
And truly, time will tell.
Time will tell. I mean, this is one of the richest Nigerians in terms of assets, loaded, heavily in terms of assets. But these are the things that AMCON is going for, that if you are owing so much, you can keep what you use as collateral, etc. But again, knowing Dr. Ibrahim, and I know him quite well, he won't take these, lightly. So he will probably get to the Supreme Court, and he has always said, I would love a case of mine to get to the Supreme Court. So we wait for that.
We'll keep an eye on that.
Absolutely. On the Strip, jolted by unending killings, President sends NSA, IG, 3 others to Sokoto, Katsina. Remember that we mentioned Katsina earlier, on the program. I think that this is the right thing to do. Get your military apparatus, to deal with the situation. And of course, on the window, on Omicron, Obasanjo, Uganda's former VP, in joint article, lambasts Western world for red listing African countries. We are not going to get enough of that, really.
Not at all. It's not going away anytime soon.
What is bad is bad. That's what they're saying to the UK, to say that, from what Dr. Duban just said to us, don't politicize issues of health and pandemic. It's been almost everywhere since October. South Africa discovered it. Don't now say because they announced it, it emanated from there. Right. And then in any case, you now have more cases of Omicron than even Nigeria, probably than any other country in Africa. Why are we not reciprocating?
Yeah, right, Steve, because, this is a noise that's not a noise, actually, a voice that has reverberated across the world since this came up. But do you think that they're listening?
Well, I don't think so. Yeah. But if you look at the last story on the cover of This Day on page 6, in tit for tat, Emirates suspends flights to Nigeria. I'm saying that if we're able to take such a decision on aviation-related thing with UAE and Emirates, how much more, for the UK? Is it like we've got a whole lot to lose to show that we are a sovereign state and that you have not treated us fairly? You have not treated us decently. What do you think, by the way?
I absolutely agree with you on that. My concern would be everybody is sort of, in solidarity, say, this is how we feel about it. Without doing all those retaliatory moves in the name of just doing that on the surface. What really is the bigger picture? Are they listening to us or just hearing us?
I think they're listening to us. I think they have not heard anything that will make them budge. In my opinion. Yes, the voice of former President Obasanjo is big. Dr. Adeshino, Professor Mogalu, practically everybody speaking. They can hear these things, but then what's the weight that it carries? In saying to them that if we also have something to do in retaliation. Let's grow some courage for crying out loud. In my opinion. Can we do another paper?
Yes, it appears that everyone is talking about Buhari. It shows the world leaders, which of course, against the backdrop of the conversations we were having earlier today around the electoral amendment bill as well. So this is the Guardian, the conscience nurtured by truth. Conscience nurtured by truth. So of course, we're having, I just want to basically juxtapose this against the backdrop of the electoral amendment bill conversation we had with Mr. Ayodele this morning. I feel like this is not going to go away. No. Nigerians will always come back and remind him of what he's saying. Now, the question of whether he really cares, because he's going to be out of there in no time, really, is another one. But let's, the question I posed earlier was that what does it do to the president's image?
If he fails
to ascend this, and of course that's a question in everyone's mind.
It's a question of legacy.
Absolutely.
What are you living with?
Legacy, especially when self-imposed, because he put this out there. So of course we'll see what happens. Like you say, Steve, time will always tell. We have here court dismissal. Okay, we've just discussed that as well. Saudi Arabia has not cancelled Hajj. NCC conducts mock auction on spectrum for 5G network. That's also, an interesting development in the telecommunications space, because of course we all want to leapfrog and advance those redundant technologies, let's put it so to say.
We should go 5G.
We should go 5G, and it really should happen very soon as well. Also on the topic of security, we also have more of these stories coming out of the dailies. Gunmen invade Imo community, kill monarch, others fear dead. Of course, we talked about the Katsina state just earlier, and now Imo state. So security every day.
Given that Imo just came out of a bad patch, insecurity-wise. It will be sad, if we are returning to the dark old days of insecurity in Imo. So the governor will have to rise up to the challenge, make sure that it secures people's lives and property.
Absolutely. So I think we can move to another.
Okay. Let's see what's interesting. I think I saw something interesting in the Vanguard. Okay, Saturday Vanguard. Yes, it's still the same lead. 2023 will conduct free, fair elections.
Not letting it go at all.
But we don't go there. But then there's something on the Darwin College. Charge school principal for negligence. That's the paper is attributing that to experts, which readers can find on page 18. UNICEF child protection expert names culprits in Sylvester's death. On page 17, and more revelations from ex-female students of the school. Still another rider, bullying, cultism in secondary schools. A time bomb exploding before us. That's according to the governor of Lagos State. Sad tales from Lagos, Ogun, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, everywhere. I think the old point of the bullying in school and narrowing that to what happened at Darwin, should be addressed properly. The school is still locked. Arrests have been made. 3 of the kids, of the children, suspected, children have been arrested. It looks like 2 have traveled. This is something that the police will have to sit with so that we can put a stop, hopefully, to this kind of menace. On the window in Saturday Vanguard, Ayu takes over PDP, serves APC quit notice. Says they should prepare handover note, pledges, consultation, teamwork, vows to return PDP to the people. I mean, that's expected from the new chairman of...
No surprises there, you say?
He's almost saying what the presidential candidate of the party will say. And on the right, on the window, Uzodinma launches book on Igbo question today. Senator Izunaso hails him for recovering university from Okorocha. That's also on Imo. Insecurity on the one hand, and then the Igbo question, the book being launched. On the other hand, that's what the governor is saying. Let's hope that when the book is being launched, he will also address the question of insecurity.
Yes, we can only hope. And this is the Saturday Telegraph, where we also have right here the major headlines there. Telegraph.
Okay.
The federal government has to take blame for expired vaccines. This is according to Professor Tomori, a conversation we were having earlier. Says failure to distribute vaccines quickly, major factor. Expiration scandalous, says Professor Ozoilo, and blames vaccine hesitancy, of course, quote from Professor Babalola. Of course, we had this conversation earlier.
What has vaccine hesitancy got to do with the
to do with the expiration? In fact, that is
that fuels hesitancy.
Exactly.
Actually,
and
you know, but...
yeah, so what's our priority here, really? Hesitancy or actually getting correct, original doses that have not expired? But of course, this is a very different take from the conversation we had earlier.
With Dr.
Odubanja. With Dr.
Yes.
Odubanja.
Yes.
Where he's saying that, look, let's give kudos to the government because they actually did what they had to do.
That's right.
But against popular opinion, question is, do we know that for a fact?
Given the fact that they didn't volunteer such information, you couldn't have detected expired or about to expire vaccines. You claimed 1 million, until another person said, no, we're dealing with 2.5 million expired vaccines. I understand the fact that, the government probably doesn't want to offend, the donors and their friends, given that we are not able to purchase, to afford all that we need. But then, we know our challenges. It takes a lot to distribute, within the country. So if you're going to have to accept vaccines, it shouldn't be the ones that, have only 1 month shelf life left, or 3 months or something. It has to be a minimum of 6 months or something so that you are able to go around. I think that lessons must be learned from here, and that Professor Tomori's, admonition should be taken seriously.
Very seriously.
If you look at the video that went viral of Professor Tomori, that he even had to shed tears at some point. That's a brilliant, well-celebrated, professor of virology in Nigeria who speaks truth to power. And I think the lead here on Saturday, Telegraph, and what he has said should be taken very seriously so that we do not have a repeat of that. If anything at all, it will fuel vaccine hesitancy, because a lot of people are already asking, oh, I hope the one that I got was not.
Yeah.
How do you reassure people? Is by volunteering information. That's what Dr. Duban just said. You didn't announce it yourself that we discovered it, even though you stopped it. Then how do we gain your trust? It ought to have come out from government and then reassure people that this will be the last time that you have something like that. And each time you're now having other batches of vaccines, let us know when they're due, for expiration.
Yeah, very strong point, Steve. And on this issue, of course, this should be taken very seriously. This is not about apportioning blame. Whose fault is it? Whatever. This is about the safety of Nigerians.
Safety.
Dr. Odubanja mentioned earlier to say that, it's about the messenger. I believe that the messenger should be the trusted messenger, regardless of who it is. And in this case, it should be the government. We should actually be focusing on how to trust the messenger. You cannot gamble with the lives of people that it actually took a while to convince.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? It took a while to convince a lot of people as to why this is the right move to take. So now if you begin to have doubts about it because you do not trust the institution that is meant to educate you about it, then we have a big problem on our hands. Running
from a virus and then you are now encountering expired vaccination. By the way, what do you think will be the consequence of an unfortunate situation where people take
I don't know the answer to that, but I believe that should be considered very seriously now, so that we don't even have to deal with that. Yeah, and that should be addressed with all seriousness, because we don't want a situation where there are no consequences for the negligence of an institution that should have taken care of it in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, I think have we got time for?
I think we can do one more very briefly.
One more paper. Yeah. Okay, so let's do the Sun, Saturday Sun. Again, the lead here. Oh, the lead is different actually. 2023. We're not desperate for Yoruba president. That's coming from Afenifere, the pan-Yoruba group. President can come from any part of the South, insist on restructuring before election. This, to me, will go against the popular view of the people to say that, you know, where power should come to. But we'll see as we move into the election year proper, you know, a lot of things will develop.
Yes, and, time will always tell.
Time will tell.